I lost 37 kilos in the past 2 years, and in this video I'm gonna teach you my top 10 best nutrition tips that allow me to lose the weight and keep it off. With that being said, let's get right into it. Number 1, you need to be in a calorie deficit. Let's get one thing straight. Nothing else I'm gonna say in this video matters unless you follow this first point, which is to be in a calorie deficit. So what exactly is a calorie deficit? It simply means that you're eating fewer calories than what your body needs to maintain its current weight. That's it. It doesn't matter if you're doing keto or carnivore or vegan or Mediterranean or paleo. The only way that you're gonna lose fat is if you are in a calorie deficit. Anybody who's telling you otherwise, they simply may not know what they're talking about, or they're trying to sell you something. With that being said, how do you calculate your calorie deficit? You just need to take an estimation, and you can do that by following a calculator. I have my own, you can find it in the description, but to be completely transparent with you, any calculator works. You just need to choose one, stick to that number of calories that it gives you for 2 weeks and measure your weight. It's a matter of trial and error. You pick one calculator, preferably my calculator, and you test it out. If you are losing weight on the number of calories that it tells you, great, keep it going. If you are not losing weight, you can drop your calories by about 100 per week and try again for the next 2 weeks. It doesn't need to be more complicated than this. Tip number 2, you need to eat enough protein. There's 3 macronutrients. There's protein, there's carbohydrates, and there's fat. But when it comes to weight loss and when it comes to maintaining and building your muscle, protein is by far the most important macronutrient and the one that we're gonna focus on in this video. Because when you're losing weight, what you want to lose is fat. You don't want to lose muscle. So what you need to do is that you need to train hard, which we're gonna talk about in the next video. But secondly, you need to eat enough protein to preserve your muscle and even build some. If you're not eating enough protein and you're not training, you're just gonna end up skinny fat, which, trust me, you want to avoid. I've been there, it's not a great look. Now, to set up your protein goal, all you need to do is take your current body weight in kilos and multiply it by 1.6. In my case, when I started my weight loss journey, I was at 115.4 kilos, and that multiplied by 1.6 would give me 184 grams of protein. That's the number that I try to stick to throughout my weight loss journey. But here's an extra tip for you. If you are extremely overweight or you don't want to eat over 200 grams of protein, all you can do is simply take your height in centimeters and use that as your goal for protein. I'm 178 centimeters tall, so I would need to eat 178 grams of protein, which for me, it's also very close to that 184 grams of protein which I got previously. So both of these work, just pick one that you like and stick to it. Next up, number 3, we're gonna talk about fiber. Fiber is extremely underrated, not only when it comes to overall health, but also to weight loss, because it helps you stay full and be less hungry. And fiber, alongside protein, is gonna help you to do so. And that's because you can find fiber in a lot of fruits and vegetables, which help you stay more full. Things like zucchini, broccoli, apples, oranges, all kinds of berries. They're all great sources of fiber that you should try to eat every single day. What I would like for you to get is 14 grams of fiber for every 1000 calories that you eat. So if you're eating 2000 calories per day, that's 28 grams of fiber. Now, if you're not used to eating a lot of fiber, especially in the beginning, you may want to aim for 10 grams of fiber for every 1000 calories of food that you eat. So if you're eating 2000 calories per day, I want you to get in at least 20 grams of fiber. And gradually you can look to increase that week over week and over months. Please eat more fiber. Number 4, eat between 3 to 5 times per day. This is something that I've done throughout my weight loss journey every single day, and it's also something that I always recommend my clients do. Eating between 3 to 5 times per day can mean something like 3 meals and 2 snacks, or 2 meals and 1 snack, or 4 meals and 1 snack. They all work. Being able to stick to an eating schedule is gonna help you a lot regulate your hunger hormones so that you can start getting hungry around the same times. And this way, it allows you to eat when you're hungry. You need to find something that works for your lifestyle. If you can get in lunch, dinner, and an afternoon snack, that's perfect. I don't want you to do random snacking throughout the day if it's not time to eat. If you commit to having breakfast, lunch, and dinner and no snacks, you better not start snacking if it's not part of your plan. You only need to eat when it's time to eat. Point number 5, you need to stay hydrated. I won't spend too much time on this because I'm sure you know that you need to drink water, but a good way to know that you're hydrated enough is to check your peak hour. If your peak calorie is light yellow, then you're totally fine. If it's not, then you probably should start drinking more water. It's gonna help also a bit with your hunger, because sometimes when you feel hungry, you may actually be a bit thirsty. So yeah, make sure you're drinking enough fluids. That can be water, coffee, it doesn't dehydrate you, tea, even some diet soda. Now, while the next 5 tips may not be exactly nutrition based, I still want to talk to you about them because I'm sure you're gonna find them useful. Starting with number 6, I want you to track your body weight and rate of weight loss. What does this mean? The first phase of my weight loss journey lasted 413 days. Out of those days, I weighed myself 316 times. That's an average of about 5 weigh-ins per week. The reason why I weigh myself so often, and I'm telling you to do the same, is because your weight is gonna fluctuate a ton every single day. And the earlier you manage to get comfortable with the fact that the scale won't make any fucking sense, the better you're gonna be. Some days you're gonna see the scale go up 2 kilos. Some days you're gonna see the scale go down 2 kilos. Some days or even weeks you won't see the scale move a little bit. That's all normal and it's part of the plan. So why is it important to weigh yourself every day preferably, or at least 3 times per week? That's in order to not make bad decisions based on wrong data. Let's say you weigh yourself on Monday and the scale says 100 kilos. Now let's say you weigh yourself again the next Monday and the scale says 101 kilos. You would think that you gained 1 kilo in 1 week. You may want to drop your calories or increase your cardio or do something to compensate for the weight gain. Maybe what you didn't see is that every single day that week your weight was going down. But because you had a salty meal on Sunday evening, Monday the scale went up to reflect that. That's just water weight. And it's impossible to know and it's impossible to get an idea of what's going on unless you have multiple data points. Here's what I did. I weigh myself every single day when I was home and I would note down all my weights in a Google Sheet spreadsheet. I would take the average of every 14 days, okay? Every 2 weeks, I would look at what was my average weight and I would compare the first 2 weeks to the next 2 weeks. And if my weight dropped at a good rate, about 0.5% to 1% of my body weight. So if I weigh 100 kilos and the average weight was going down by 1 to 2 kilos, I was good. I wouldn't make any changes at all. If the weight was going down slower than that, only then I will make some changes. So please track your body weight more often and make sure that you're noting it down somewhere and keeping track of it. And this brings me to my next topic, which is breaking through plateaus. This is one of the most popular questions that I see when it comes to weight loss. But the thing is that the solution is not as complicated as some people may make it seem to be. First of all, if you don't do this thing here, which is to track your body weight and rate of weight loss, you are not plateaued because you have no idea what's going on. So don't say that you hit a plateau. Now, let's say you're actually doing these things. You are tracking your body weight and you're tracking your rate of weight loss, and you do notice that your weight hasn't gone down for a month. Now, here's a very important question for you. Have you been consistent with your calories for that entire month? If the answer is no, again, you are not plateaued. Go back and track your calories properly and make sure that you're hitting your calories correctly on most days. Now, let's say your calories are in check. Another question I would have for you is, are you walking enough per day? Are you hitting your step goal every single day? If your step goal is 10,000 steps, how does your week look like? Are you actually at 10,000 steps? Or are you closer to 7,000 steps? If you're not able to hit your target when it comes to your activity, your steps, again, you are not plateaued. And same thing goes to everything else which you're supposed to do. Are you hitting your protein target? Are you staying hydrated? Are you hitting your fiber target? Are you doing all these habits on a consistent basis for you to start complaining that your weight loss is plateaued? If the answer is no to any of them, you need to get yourself in check and you need to start being more consistent with your habits. Only if everything you're doing is more or less perfect, you're hitting your calories, you're hitting your protein, your fiber, your steps, then we can simply decrease your calories. If your average calories per week is 2000, go down to 1900 calories and stick to that number for the next weeks. That's how you break through a weight loss plateau. You make sure that everything you're supposed to do, you're doing, and you're still not seeing the results that you should see. Only then you make adjustments to your calories and you drop them. If you do this, you'll have the blueprint on how to always know how to break through a weight loss plateau. Simple. Number 8, you need to set realistic expectations. Something you can't really understand unless you've gone through multiple weight loss journeys in the past is that 99% of the time it's gonna take you longer to achieve the goal that you're aiming for. You might do everything right and it might still take you longer. I started at 115.4 kilos in May of 2023. My goal was to get down to 80 kilos within 1 year. So by May 2024, I did not reach my 80 kilo goal. I actually reached 85 kilos. I still lost about 30 kilos at that point, but I was not at my initial goal. But you know what? That's fine. I was still down 30 kilos. Who gives a fuck if I wasn't down 35? So I was like, okay, I'm still down 30 kilos. Let me diet a bit longer, see if I can achieve my goal in 13 months instead of 12 and assess from there. So I pushed through for 1 more month. I kept my deficit and I ended up at 83 kilos. Still not at my goal of 80 kilos. Does this make me a failure for not achieving an arbitrary target that I had for me? Absolutely not. I still made great progress in that time frame. But my goal was not that realistic. I shouldn't have expected to be able to lose 35 kilos in 1 year because I knew that not everything is gonna be perfect. There were gonna be holidays. I was gonna go on trips with my family, with my girlfriend. And what I want you to understand is that there is no finish line. Sure, it's great if you want to lose 20 kilos in 6 months, but if after those 6 months you only lose 15 kilos, you still made fantastic progress. And the most important thing is gonna be for you not to get depressed about not hitting your target and gain all the weight back. And that brings me to my next topic, which is number 9, diet breaks. What this means is what it sounds like. You take a break from your diet. This doesn't mean that you go back to your old habits and you eat in a calorie surplus and you go crazy. In the weekends, you drink too much, you eat too much. No. This simply means that you keep the habits that you have built during your weight loss journey. You keep walking, you keep hitting your protein, you keep hitting your fiber, your fruits, your veggies. You just eat more of it. You bring your calories from a deficit immediately up to maintenance. You don't do any of this reverse diet nonsense where you increase your calories by 50 every single week. No, you bring your calories up to maintenance level. What you can simply do is increase your calories, let's say by 500 in the first week. If I take myself as an example, I took a diet break of about 4 months after the first year of weight loss. During that time, I did gain a bit of body fat because I ate slightly above maintenance because I went on holidays, life happened. But I didn't go crazy. I gained 1 or 2 kilos, which is fine. After a few months of spending time around maintenance or in a slight surplus, my diet fatigue went down. I was feeling better. I was feeling like myself again. And I was ready to go down again into a calorie deficit. I had great results and better results than if I would have kept pushing myself to stay in a deficit for longer, even when my body didn't want to. Again, there is no finish line. So when you get to a point where you feel like you have no energy and you feel like you absolutely hate this diet, just take a 1 month diet break. Okay, we made it to the end. Finally, point 10, you need to have a post-diet plan. This is the biggest mistake I see people make after they lose weight, and I'm guilty of it as well. You finish your diet, you reach a comfortable weight, and then you have no plan. You stop tracking your calories, you stop tracking your protein, you don't have a meal structure anymore. You go back to your old habits, and slowly but surely, the weight is gonna start creeping back up again. That's why you need to be mindful about having a post-diet plan even before you finish your weight loss diet. And what I want you to do is very simple. Just keep the good habits that you developed during the weight loss diet even after the diet. Keep tracking your calories, your protein, your fiber, keep walking just like you were doing in the weight loss diet, but just increase your food quantity. And by the way, this is also why having a diet break in your weight loss journey is a good training for when the diet ends. The majority of your life you should be around maintenance. And look, it will take time for your body to adjust to the new body weight. If you start like me, around 115 kilos, and you get down to lower than 80 kilos, which is where I am right now, my body still wants me to eat more than I currently am. If I start intuitive eating, I'm gonna intuitively eat my entire fridge. Understand that losing weight is only half the battle. The other half comes after, and in my opinion, it's even more difficult. For at least a couple of months after you finish your weight loss, keep the good habits, enjoy life a bit more by eating a bit more. And that's it. This wraps up the nutrition part of this mini series where I teach you how to lose weight and keep it off. Make sure to leave me a like if you like the video, drop a comment if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to help you out. And also make sure to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out the third part of the series where I walk you through how to set up your training plan and cardio for your weight loss journey. I'll see you soon.